Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. Support us for the 5th. Well, we talked about it. The push would be to come back to the highs and try and create new ones. And literally, once the movement started the other day, it started off that ABM and just never stopped. Just went straight up. And it coincided with exactly what we were talking about, new fund money coming in from the regular pension plans and everything. They've got all that cash, could do something with it. And certainly aren't buying treasuries in that at this particular point, so the market is the only place, and that's what happens to it. And consistent with the fact that we've been declining in our short interest here, and now actually have a crossover from that initial orange dip. So, all in all, in line with expectations. And again, the NASDAQ looking pretty similar to it, but it's been slightly different from a shakeout standpoint, obviously rebuilding from a much lower perspective, which both gives it potential but also exposes it to greater weakness, because now you're making higher highs on a lower shakeout histogram. That can become problematic, so we'll keep an eye on it. And of course, like I said the euro before, it filled in its positive extreme from way back at the beginning of December, and fluctuating again. It's still outside the range, which would be down near that 116 to 19-ish range. Varies a little bit, but when we get back down there, just plop those numbers back in. And from a gold standpoint, again, without stimulus coming through, no real impetus to drive that. Here's the intraday on this. It was just pre-market, dipped down back to the algo levels, right in between here, and then caught the dip. And this was actually one of those perfect ones where it came up above and then dipped right back to the zero. Then it's just a matter of, well, is my orange going to drop below? And sure enough, it did early on, even before it started moving under red, and literally just took off. You had one DOC spread that took place right here. Still magenta was greater than 15 at that particular point, so not really expecting much in that. And sure enough, lasted just a couple of bars and immediately crossed over. I mean, literally right there, and began another cycle all the way forward. So it's pretty clean. Speaking of clean, throw this one in there. So we had talked about it. This was the other expected retrace for GameStop. And pretty clean. I don't see any issue with the difficulties on seeing that. However, if you weren't prepared or didn't know, I'm going to shrink that just a little bit to get a better idea of what we're talking about from that. That was from the previous breakout before positive extremes, and had marked it. So let's slide it back a little bit. It goes right back to here. So that's how easy that is. So the algos continue to do exactly what they're supposed to. You can see it from Bitcoin. It's pretty clean. No real objections to any of that. So right now we're continuing in post-market. When flush with that money and nobody wants to fight it, then it's just going to keep moving in that direction until it stops. And actually, we've got several new positive extremes within this general setup. I had marked them before, but sometimes they disappear. Just a little one higher up right there. And then, of course, the new ones that just took place were beginning right about here on this one. The earliest parts already have filled on it. It just gives new indicator markers for us. I like it because you tend to get retraces that will fill back to those as opposed to just general Fibonacci. So I think it's good to keep marking this. It just gives you a line going through, particularly when there's more than one. These early ones right here where it was just a single, other than having a giant space, I think gives you a little bit of clarity as to, the start of some of these algos and why they are where they are. They've selected that based on when they achieved enough interest to make it happen and drive it from there. So As always, anything relevant, I will stick up on the Skype chat. But this one was easy. Trade well.